Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another Lazy Show where we teach you AutoCAD in a way that is more productive so you can stop wasting your time. As always, we show up here each Sunday at 10 a.m. In YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn now with a new way to save time, right, in AutoCAD. So we're going to start right away with today's presentation, which it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna learn a new technique. We're gonna create an awesome custom command macro that I'm pretty sure is gonna save you so much time. All right. So, but before we do anything, let me jump to the chat, say hi to you, ask you how are you doing, and to classes. Good morning, Irving. Hey, Duke, my friend. Thank you for being here today. I think you missed last week live stream, but I'm glad that you are here. Hope you are doing great. Douglas. Okay. Lewis is on the chat. Hi, Lewis. Thank you for being here also. Hope you are doing great, my friend Lewis. Kumar says, hi, good morning. Hey, Kumar. Happy to have you here also, Kumar. How are you? Is asking Kumar. I'm doing fine, Kumar. Very excited for today's custom command that I'm gonna share with you. I've been using this command for many time, for so long already, and I think it's a good time to share it with you guys, right? So, two classes. The bird, the bird is taking shape. Irving. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. um, Nirmal says hi Nirmal, happy to have you here, my friend. I think you were also on our last live stream. If I remember, that's awesome that you keep up with the live streams. All right. Okay, so as always, we're gonna have some time to do Q&A by the end of the live stream, but also you can interrupt me at any time, right, during my presentation here. You can always interrupt me. I'm gonna start sharing my screen over here so you can see what's going on. Okay. All right. So let me see over here. Mm, Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me share my screen. Mm, Okay. Share. Mm, All right. I think you can see my screen now. All right. I think we are ready. Again, you can stop me at any time with your questions. All right. Okay. Let's do this, guys. Let's do this today. Mhm. All right. Let's see. Our friend Lewis says, "Yep." Yeah, I mean, he's ready. He's ready to rock and roll. All right. So, so we have a hatch right here on this exterior elevation, and you can see there are many problems with this hatch, right? You can see we have empty spaces there. Hatch is going through objects over here, not over here though. Probably because this object was added later, right after the hatch. Who knows? But the whole idea is that having a hatch going around objects or blocks, it's not a good workflow, as you can see. So we will have to, fix the hatch by removing boundaries and so on. um, and also this won't give you the flexibility to move your objects, right? If you want to move your objects to another location, again, you will have to trim that portion of the hatch. Now, we have a couple of options to deal with this issue, right? We can create a wipeout and so on. But using wipeouts bring, for people who don't know, wipeout is a mask that you can add to a block or to an item to hide objects behind, like a hatch. So by using wipeout, will bring another issues like your wipeouts showing black when you print, or um, sometimes your wipeouts showing in front of your item, and that's another problem. So then the second option is to use a hatch, right, to mask your objects. So then that's the option that I like to use, a hatch, a white hatch. Now the problem with that is also not a problem, but it's time consuming. I'll have to go ahead and get inside my block or the block editor. I'll have to go to my layer palette to create a new layer, um, like white or something. Um, so that way I can change the color to true white from here, change it to true white. Um, so then once I had that, I could use my hatch command, select my object, select my hatch, go to home, place it on that new white color, and then send my hatch to the back so I can see my objects, close my block, save my changes, and I will have my block ready to go. As you can see, it doesn't matter the location of my block, it will also always hide or mask um, my hatch behind, right? Now, you can imagine if you have multiple blocks in your drawing or in your elevation, this would be time consuming. And since I'm always masking objects, then let's see how we can automate this process and create a custom command that can quickly add a hatch to my blocks so I don't have to waste time, right? So let's see how we can do that then. All right. So, um, as you can see over here in this elevation, we have a hatch that it's not trimmed or anything. And again, that's the way to go to avoid problems, tedious problems with hatches. Who here have faced this problem with hatches, right? Raise your hand or just say, um, I don't know, say something. Just say hatch. If you ever faced problems with hatches, just put hatch on the chat. All right. So okay, let's see. Um, so the way we're gonna do this, guys, is by creating again a custom command, and the way I'm gonna do it is using the CUI to create a new command using this start icon. All right. So once I hit that star icon, I can rename my command. Um, so you can call it as you wish, but I'm gonna call it lazy hatch to block. That's the name I'm gonna give. And of course, I could select an icon here as you wish. I'm just gonna pick a random one. Um, but the idea is that we can tweak the macro settings over here and start implementing all of these steps that we did when I added my hatch manually, right? So one of the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave that CC because that simply means we're canceling any active command. So that's important. But then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a layer with this following piece of code. I'm gonna create a layer called boundary to give me more flexibility when hatching my blocks or my objects inside my block. And I'm gonna give it a color with this C option. Color 3 would be green. That's not important. The color is just for you or for the user or for myself to differentiate what I'm selecting. All right. So again, we're creating a layer. Now, after we create a layer, what are we gonna do, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a rectangle with this following piece of code. So again, a simple rectangle with the rectangle REC shortcut, and we are giving them coordinates here, right? At 50, 50 to 100, 100. So that will simply draw a rectangle around my block or around the objects of my block. Okay. Now, um, in order again to better differentiate my objects, I'm gonna do a zoom, um, a zoom. I'm gonna zoom onto my objects with this zoom command. And why? Well, because most of the time when we hatch, right, we need to somehow see everything, right? All of our objects. So that's what I'm gonna do is zoom and O for objects, and my objects, of course, would be L for last, in this case, the rectangle. So again, we can see everything. So once I have that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the boundary command with this shortcut over here, BO for boundary, and I'm gonna set inputs or coordinates 45, 45. Why? Well, because by picking a point in these coordinates, that will be inside my rectangle right here that we just created. So the boundary command again will give us a nice outline or boundary of our objects for our block, right? So once we have that, the next step is to start adding some settings for our hatch. And one of the settings that it's very important for a hatch is this setting called HP layer. So what HP layer is, it will set a layer for hatch patterns, and by using this period over here or a dot, it's simply saying, hey, we want to use the current hatch. I mean, the current layer for my new hatches. So again, that's very important. Simply setting some settings for our hatch. Now, once we have that, what I like to do is create another layer over here with this short piece of code. And the reason why I'm going to create a new layer called a elevation white is because I need to again create a layer that has this true color white. So that will help us mask our block, right? So that's what this piece of code does. Again, create a true layer white. Now, once we have that, we will need to add another setting for our hatch. Uh, if we don't add this setting for our hatch, we will face a problem. And the problem is that sometimes the color of our hatch might be different. So that's what we will use the HP color again to set the hatch pattern colors to current with this period again. So that's very important. Okay. So again, we were setting up some of these different settings that control our hatches, as such as the layer, the color, and we are creating a couple of layers so far. Okay. So once we do that, then we are ready to add our hatch. All right. And the way I'm gonna add my hatch automatically, of course, is by utilizing the following piece of code. Using the hatch command with the command line version using this character. And for the pattern, I'm telling AutoCAD to use solid. And then I'm using the hatch object with the option to select my objects and following by this character that gives a pause for the user to pick an object to hatch. All right. So once we do that, you saw that I had to manually also send my hatch to the back, right? You saw that because otherwise it will cover or hide your objects. So the way I'm gonna send my hatch to the back is by using this command or shortcut HB hatch to back command. So that will cover that issue. Now, after this, what I like to do is um, erase some of the objects that were created with the boundary command. And the way I'm gonna do it is by utilizing this small piece of code that will help me select um, the objects on the layer boundary. Once I select those objects on the layer boundary, AutoCAD will erase them using the erase command and the previous option. And we want that because, again, once we create a boundary, we don't want to leave random objects over there, right? So I'll click OK for now before I proceed with the next piece of code here, just to test things out because that's a good idea. You don't want to keep adding and adding these strings and then realize there is a big problem, right? So I'm gonna stop here for now and then click OK to test what I did so far. And then, of course, I'll go back to see if you have questions. So I'm gonna click OK and hit apply. And then, of course, I'm gonna add my new lazy hatch to block command to the quick access panel. I'm gonna click and drag it all the way up here and release it like so. So that way I can have it available anytime, right? So I'm gonna test it really quick. I'm gonna go back to this block, open it, of course. Oops, what I did. I'm gonna go and go to the block editor and test my new lazy hatch to block command. So I'm gonna click on it. Okay, it's asking me to select my object. Of course, my object would be here. Oops. I selected run. So let me try it again. So I'm gonna click again my command, select my objects, and boom. So far it's working as expected. It added a hatch on a layer solid or a elevation white, which is true white. Now, at this point, I will have to close my block editor and save the changes, of course. But let's see if we can also automate that process. All right, let's see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close and save, of course, the changes for the hatch. I mean, for this block. And I'm gonna go back to my CUI options and of course find my command here, right? Lazy hatch to block command. And over here, what I like to add is a command called vclose. So this command, of course, will close the block editor. And to save the changes, I'm gonna use the um, S key over here for save, and of course press enter. Right? So I think this command is ready for a final test. I'm gonna click OK and apply and see how our command is working. Right? So the next time that you need to hatch a block, simply go to your block editor, use your command lazy block to hatch, select your object to hatch, and boom, this command works beautifully. As you can see, from now on you won't have to trim hatches or do anything else. You can simply move your objects as you wish, and you won't have any problems with your hatches. All right, so awesome. I'm gonna test it one more time on this other block right here to see if there are no problems or errors. So block editor. Let's see over here. I'm gonna use my command lazy hatch to block. Click, select my item, of course, and boom, this works beautifully, guys. So, what do you think about this new command, new custom command that we just created, the lazy hatch to block command? Would you use it? I use this command all the time, especially for interior elevations where we have a lot of equipments that I don't like to start trimming hatches and mess around with those objects. All right. So let me jump to the chat, see if you have any questions, um, or just in general, what do you think about the lazy hatch to block command that we just created? Okay. Let me see on the chat. Let's see what you guys have to say. Okay. So I guess today's presentation was a little short, but I think was very powerful. Hopefully, you can implement again this new custom command in your AutoCAD workflow. And Douglas says, I'll be using it maybe in place of the lazy multi-line fill we did months ago. Yeah, Duke. So I think you're referring to the. Okay, let me see if I can find what you are talking about so people can understand, um, to give them some context. All right. I think our friend Douglas is referring to. Uh, mm, oh, here we go. So, Doug, you are referring to this video that we did 8 months ago. Wow. That we where we help you kind of automate the process of drawing framing, right? To buys framing. Yeah, so you're saying you'll be using it maybe in place. I mean, look, those are different situations, right? This will be better. The hatch to block would be better for, of course, for blocks, right? But the multi-line situation over here, that give you more flexibility, like for objects such as walls, framing, and all of that good stuff. I believe. Douglas says joist over Beamsville. Yep. That's the one, right? Yeah, my friend Duke. Yeah, so for people who don't know, this lazy questions series that we have is, a way that we found to help some of you folks, right? That might need some help. For instance, creating a blog over here. This person emailed me saying that he couldn't figure it out, um, a double door block. So we help him. We help our friend Duke. Yeah, so you can send me or email me your question, and then we can do a video. All right, let's see. Mm, I think we have time for a Q&A, guys. So let's see if you have questions or talk about anything AutoCAD related, right? We have some time to classes. Yes, that's the one. Duke, if I block a joist, then array it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's a good idea too. So you work a lot with framing and all of that, my friend Douglas. Okay. Um, okay. So for people who don't know, our friend Duke is in the architecture field also. So uh, let's see. Okay. Yes, a lot of framing, says our friend Duke. So yeah, so I'm glad that we could automate this process of adding hatches, right, to our blocks. You saw how quickly it was to kind of automate all of these steps that we were doing manually, right? Creating a white hatch, adding that hatch to our objects using the boundary command. So all of those steps, you saw that we could quickly automate it, right? With this lazy hatch to block command. You saw that we could quickly create a rectangle in its own layer, in its own color, green, to kind of help us visualize the items better. You saw that the boundary command created this nice outline of our object, and then you saw that also we automated the process of hatching by giving us already the option to just select our object, in this case the outline, and by doing so AutoCAD will immediately hatch with the pattern that we picked, which was solid, and will immediately close the block editor and save the changes. So all of those steps you saw we could automate it, and just so you see the possibilities, right, of working with macros. And AutoCAD already realized that, and that's why AutoCAD gave us this command macros palette, right? That is kind of new. I guess it only has 1 year, maybe, command macros. So AutoCAD realized the importance of macros, and now they gave us our own palette to create our commands, right? So by using the same macro code, we could simply copy our macro, right, that we just created, and then we could utilize the command macros over here. You can see I can right click on the command macros and then start creating my command. I can simply paste my code and name my new command hatch to block, right? So you see that easy, how easy it is But of course, I didn't use this command macros because I know there are still some folks that might be using older versions of AutoCAD, right? And I want to make sure that we can all follow along, right? Even though we're using older versions, we all have access to our quick access panel over here to create new commands. So that's what I use that instead of our brand new command macros palette. But it will be the same idea again. So let's see, for instance, let's see if I have another block. So, oops, what I did. So block editor, erased hatch. And again, from our command macros palette, same idea. Select our objects and boom, we're ready to go. All right. So our friend Duke have a couple of questions, and like I said, we have time to do Q&A. So let's see. Duke Glass is asking, if I changed the color of the layer, will that override the macro to color 2115? Um, that's a good question, my friend Duke, and of course it will, right? That's why we create this macro in a way that so let me go to the command macro editor so we can see the code. Add hash through white to add block to mask. So what Douglas is asking is about, if we change the layer, will that override the macro color? Um, no, it won't override it here. It will override it over here in the block level, right? For instance, if I select this and well, I don't need to select anything. I'll just need to go or expand my palettes, my layer palette over here. And if I find the A elevation white that we added to our block over here, so of course, if I change this color, right, instead of being true white, maybe I change it to, I don't know, whatever, magenta. And of course, that's gonna affect, right, our block. But the idea is that we create a unique layer that we can only use for true white colors, right? That's the whole idea, my friend Duke. But hopefully that answered your question, Duke. That was a good question. Let's see. Two classes saying, I don't think the macro palette is available to student versions of AutoCAD. Here we go. That's another reason, Duke, why not to use the the command macros, right? Because again, I understand some folks might still not have this command macros palette. So that's why I most of the time use the tool palette. Everyone has the tool palette, right? You can add commands there, or I use the quick access panel. So yeah, talking about AutoCAD, the new release for AutoCAD 2025 is coming in the next days, and we're gonna try to show you also those new features for AutoCAD 2025. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna have news again in the next days. Very excited. I heard already that AutoCAD 2025, we're gonna have some AI implementation to speed up things. So I'm very excited for that. I mean, we kind of are already automating our task here, right, in the channel, but maybe with the implementation of AI inside AutoCAD, that would be, something even better, right? So we can again simplify our lives, right? When we work in AutoCAD. Two classes, leave the macro, change the actual layer color. Yeah, you can, I mean, as long as you follow along with what we explain here, Duke, you can change whatever color you like, right? So you saw here that C was for color 3, that's green, right? You can change it for another color if you wish. But this one wasn't important because that was just for visual purposes, so you know what to select. Um, but the other one that you are referring to, that's the true white. And that simply is because when we plot our drawing, right? Um, so that will mask the true white hatch solid will mask your objects behind as you are seeing it right here. All right. Um, let's see. Our friend Duke says, "That's what I thought. Just curious." Yeah, Duke. Some good questions though. That's why we have this Q&A, right? Because most of the time, if we just share a new command macro, most of the time when you try to set it up, you'll have problems or you'll have questions or things like that. But we do this live stream so we can all understand what we did with the custom command. Um, okay, so Marciak, I'm curious about the 2025 release at Smart Arquitecto channel. Hey, Marciak. Hey, hi. Glad to have you here, my friend. So yeah, I mean, again, when AutoCAD released a new version, and we already kind of did this for 2024, 2023 of AutoCAD. I mean, the idea is that we have a live stream where we can all um, test these new features, right? Because in reality, I'll have just a little time to try these new features, right? I try to immediately after the 2025 release version goes out, I'll try to immediately do a video or a live stream. So at that moment, I don't have enough time to really test things out or figure things out, but I like to do it with you live, right? So that way we can talk about it, discuss it, see the issues that we have, and figure it out together. So that's the idea of, or my idea for the new 2025 release of AutoCAD. We're gonna do a live stream with you and kind of um, discuss all of these new features together, right? Masiach. And of course, I'm gonna give you my point of view of the features, right? Maybe give you ideas of how we can implement it to automate your work, right? That's our goal in this channel is try to automate some of these tedious tasks and have more fun in AutoCAD. Like when I work in this architecture office, so I'm having fun with AutoCAD. I'm not stressed out or something like that. So, and that's how you should feel too. If you're feeling stressed out or something, that means you are doing something wrong, my friend, and you need to ask for help or you need to start learning new techniques or no, or things like that, right? Um, so Duke says AI inside AutoCAD. Cool. I mean, that's what I heard, Douglas. I'm not confirming or anything like that, but I read a couple of articles and that's what they are mentioning that AI might be implemented in AutoCAD 2025. And I believe it's possible, right? other programs are already doing this, like Excel, Microsoft Excel. It's already have AI inside the program. I think Revit also. So why not AutoCAD, right? That will make sense. Um, all right. Let's see if we have more questions. Okay. Mm, Two classes makes sense. Yeah, I mean AI is the way the market or the whole industry is moving for CAD or drafting. I think we already have a video about that also. Maybe you didn't know. Um, what is it? Mm, it's not here. Maybe I can say over here GPT. Here we go. So, if you didn't know, we created an entire video and live stream about ChatGPT, right? How we can utilize it for AutoCAD. So that video got very popular. Uh, and yeah, you can take a look at it, but I believe this is a way maybe um, AutoCAD 2025 is going to implement AI, maybe. We will see. Uh, all right. Okay, so let's see if we have final questions or comments before we wrap up this live stream. Um, okay. Otherwise, I'll stop here and start thinking on our next topic. Oh, by the way, so next Sunday we're not gonna have a live stream here on YouTube. We're gonna have a Zoom meeting with our patrons. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Patreon is a way to support creators, and in exchange of some benefits or tiers, how they call it. So let's see, you can. So, and we're gonna have this Zoom meeting next Sunday. Um, we are implementing this to do it by the end of each month. So that will be next Sunday. This new Zoom meeting. Uh, so yeah. Um, so let's see if we have any question before we wrap today's live stream. Otherwise, I'll stop right here. Let's see. We have a comment. Masiak says, AC or AI are tools that, as architects, we need we need to implement to work smarter and more efficiently way. Greetings from Matthew. Great job. Um, yeah, Matthew. I mean, the whole idea is that your workflows in AutoCAD they need to be efficient, as you are saying, right? Otherwise, you'll not only be stressed out, but you'll have errors, mistakes, you'll have issues. And that's not what we want, right? We're trying to have less errors, less mistakes here. And by using automation techniques or AI, we might achieve that. So yeah, great comment from Matthew. Yeah, I think Matthew. I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna try to remember your name, Matthew. All right, so I'm gonna stop right here then. And again, a reminder: we're not having a live stream next Sunday. We're gonna have a Zoom meeting with our patrons. If you are interested, you can check that out. Patreon.com/LazyArquitecto. Otherwise, we'll see you here a week after next Sunday. All right. Okay, my friends, it was nice to be here today and hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, my friends. Okay.